What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Redstone with Ripper. This is episode 11, and yes, I did miss a week there. I actually just ran out of time to record Redstone with Ripper last week, and I apologize for that, but sometimes it's going to happen. I will try and get them out every week, and I have actually managed to up until this point, but unfortunately circumstances intervened last week. But I'm back this week with an extra special episode, and this is probably one of my most popular episodes back when I did Redstoning with Steve. And it is, of course, the 3x3 piston door. And this is a very, very misunderstood circuit or contraption, I guess I should call it. It's not just a circuit. It is pretty much a collection of circuits that all achieve the one goal of the 3x3 piston door. But basically, we're going to go through the circular piston door which is on your left here, which does not include the middle block. And then we're going to go through the 3x3 piston door with the middle block, which are two entirely different circuits. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, guys, so we're going to start today with I think I called it the 3x3 circular door. I would more refer to it as the 3x3 spiral door. Although it does not necessarily have to be a spiral, but the 3x3 spiral door, which has been popularized, I believe, by Etho. He has one of these in his world, but it's a pretty simple door. All you do is flip the lever or press the button if you want to hook up a T flip-flop to it. And, personal preference. I'm just using a lever here, and you can see we've got the blocks opening in a spiral pattern. So it'll do the same upon closing. And you see it'll start from this bottom block here and open in a spiral. And that's all there is to it. Now, this is actually very, very simple to do. Although I say that, but I did use quite a few tricks to get them to open in this spiral. So this is the basic redstone. It starts, we'll get rid of this block. It starts under here, goes to one tick to the first piston, 2 ticks to the second piston, and then it's like 3 ticks to the third piston, then 4, 5, 6, 7, and then for the last one, it's actually 8 ticks all the way to there. So yeah, it's just counting with your repeaters, so that's actually very, very easy. But what I did was tried to just mix it up a bit. As you can see, we have it coming like through here and out here, and that's pairing. This is pairing that piston. It goes over here, got a slab there. We got a dot here, and yeah, just tried to mix it up basically. I got a few buds in here, which is why these pistons are in there. Just tried to mix it up, tried to do some different stuff, make it a little less boring. There's no one way to do this really. It's pretty much all trial and error. I had a lot of problems with both of these pistons activating at the same time, which if you don't mind that, you may as well do it. It's not very hard. All you have to do is actually just get rid of this slab, so that's why it's actually there. If you put that slab there and power it, both of these pistons will actually extend and retract at exactly the same time. Can I grab my slab back out? I'll just grab it from over here. Oh no, there's not one over there. There you go. There we go. So I'll chuck that slab back in there. So basically, yeah, I'll try and explain you through it, I guess, just what I did. 1, 2, the third one goes through this block and powers this piston. Now, this is actually a little glitch here that was found, I believe, by the Redstone subreddit. Basically, you see how it's actually too long after this piston? If we were to get rid of this redstone dust, and actually, let me show you. We're actually going to get rid of that circuit. We're going to turn it on. Of course, as we expect, the first 3 pistons extend. So this piston is actually being powered by this redstone dust. But the weird thing is, if we actually get rid of this redstone dust, you can see it actually retracts. The only thing we've changed is that redstone dust. That's it. That's all that has changed. You can see this repeater is actually not having any effect at all. Oops. So that is a really weird glitch. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. I'm pretty sure props to the Redstone subreddit for finding that one out. We'll actually extend it further. So as we go through, you can see this is actually budding this piston, and then this piston is actually extending to make it extend. So that's a bud switch there, but this piston is extending to actually update it instantly, so it will just extend. The reason I'm doing this is because if I put, say, this block here where the piston is, that will bud this piston, and if I put it here, it will also bud this piston. Basically, any location you put the block to power this top piston will also bud the bottom piston, which is unfortunate, but unfortunately, it's how it is. You could also do stuff like, I guess you could have a repeater going over the top of it, but that just makes it bigger, I find. And by repeater going on top of it, I mean having this setup, which will power it, but not bud the piston underneath it. But yeah, it just makes it a bit bigger. So yeah, that's a bud there. We come through here, and you can see this is just passing into this block. I may be a repeater short here. I may be a repeater short. Am I a repeater short? It doesn't look like I'm a repeater short, but I may be one. I reckon I need a repeater here. I reckon I'm a repeater short. Yeah, there we go. I thought it looked weird before. So repeater here, going to this block, going to this repeater, and this repeater is powering this dust, which is powering that piston. Pretty easy. Now we've got another bud switch. We've got this one repeater again going down here, budding this top piston here, but doing the same thing as before with this piston. So it's instantly updating it, so it actually extends straight away. Coming to the one repeater, which just comes down and powers the bottom piston. So basically, if I didn't have any of these bud switches in here, it would be impossible to have these two fire in sequence, like one after the other, that always fire. I think that either always extend or always retract together, even if they extend. Even if they did the opposite motion in sequence, one of the motions would always be then completely in sync, which is not what you want with a spiral door. So just like that. Of course, if you want this simpler, you can just hook up the pistons to one redstone line if you really, really want to. But I find this looks cooler. And that's about all there is to the spiral door. Not a very complicated mechanism, but I know what you guys are here for. You guys want to know how to get rid of this middle block. So that's what we're going to move on to right now. Okay guys, so before we move on to the door proper, and you can see I've built the first couple of circuits over there, I really wanted to actually explain what we're trying to achieve with the 3x3 door first, because I find it's kind of like, it's one thing to, put redstone in, and that's kind of half the battle, but if you don't actually understand what you're trying to achieve with the door, you're never ever going to get the redstone right. So this is our 3x3, and 7 of these blocks are completely easy to do. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the 7 on top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're easy. You guys can wire them in your sleep. You just have to run the redstone wire around. Simple. These are the 2 blocks in the middle, and I just want to point out they don't actually have to be these 2 blocks. They can be the side 2 blocks. They can be the top 2 blocks. They can be any of those kind of this cross here. They can be any of those selection of 2, I guess there. But the most common one is the bottom 2 blocks, and it probably is the easiest one to wire up in the space you've got. So I'm going to go through and explain the movements of all the pistons in this setup. So our start setup has 2 pistons stacked, so you immediately think probably double extender. And you're not wrong, it does involve a double extender setup somewhere in it. So this is when the door is closed. We have this extended by default, and remembering the floor level is here, so you'll never see that piston. So this is extended by default. So what do we want to do first? Well, we want to get this block out of the way first. We don't want to break it, we want to get it out of the way. So we need to first retract this piston as such. So it's out of the way there, but we can't actually do the double extender to retrieve that block, and that's exactly what we need to do. We actually need to pull this block out of the way. So what do we need? We need another piston here, and we need to do that and pull it back as such. And here you can see, if I do a double extender, 2, 1, 2, and then do the last little pulse there. Our floor level's here. We can walk through the door nice and easy. So that is the closing mechanism. I'll do it once more quickly. One block up. So this is activated by default. That's our starting position. Retract 1, retract it like that, and then double extender. So closing is actually not as hard to wire. It's a little harder to understand with this piston, I feel, but it's not that hard to wire. I find the next bit a little harder to wire because it just gets really big and it's harder to do compact. So what do we need to do here? Well, we need to put this block back here, And you may think we need another double extender. We don't. So we need to put this block back here. So I'll do it with redstone blocks. We need to put this block back here. Of course, it won't stay out, so we need to send a 1-tick pulse to there. So we know we need a 1-tick pulse here. And then we can just activate this piston. And while this is activated, we don't need a 1-tick pulse. We can use it, but we don't really need it. It's unnecessary. We just pulse this again. This requires pretty precise timing. And then the last circuit comes back on, and we are back to our default position. So that's pretty much what we're going to do. And yeah, I just pretty much have to wire the thing up now. There are plenty of ways to do this, but I'm going to try and do it the easiest way to understand I can. Okay, guys, so let's jump into it. This is the full door here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pistons on the outside that we're going to ignore till the end. I'm not going to worry about them. They're inconsequential. Don't even worry about them for now. You really want to focus on these 2 blocks here. And I want to point out that this wiring here, you may have seen 3x3 doors and think this is not a 3x3 door. This is a 3x3 door. The kind of point of this series is not to build anything, super compact. It's really to just look at redstone and understand it. I'm not going to give you a tutorial on a super compact 3x3 door. You're going to have to go to other channels to see that. I know CMB Minecraft is a really good one, but I'm not going to cover it here. This is for you guys to understand it and hopefully be able to build one yourself and actually understand the thing. So we're going to start off with the opening mechanism. We've got 2 circuits, green circuit, purple circuit. The purple circuit is the one we're going to activate first. You can see they're not even hooked up. They've got separate levers. Our purple circuit is the one that activates first. Our green circuit is the one that activates second. Now, you're looking at the green circuit, you're seeing 4-tick repeater to the bottom. This goes to the top piston. It's got to be a double extender. You are correct. You can see the piston in here. This is a falling edge trigger. It is exactly the same setup as way in the distance over there, our double piston extender. So go back and watch that episode. It's not the one way over the right there. It's actually the more basic version. And again, I'm not using a complicated version of a double extender. I'm just using one that's easy to see, but still works. So what we're doing here, as I explained over here, we need to get this block out of the way first, and that's what the purple circuit achieves. So what are we going to do here? We see redstone line, and it comes to a 1-tick repeater and a 3-tick repeater. 1, 2, 2. Yep, 3-tick repeater. These both go to torches. This torch powers this piston. This torch powers this black block. I've designated it black because it's actually used multiple times. So it's used for the purple and green circuit. So I just thought it's a neutral block. We'll call it black. So what this is going to do, as you can probably see, 1 tick, 2 ticks if you include the torch, it's going to retract this piston. 2 ticks later exactly, it's going to retract this piston. Pretty simple stuff. Let's turn it on. Let's see what happens. There we go. You can see our block has been pulled out of the way. Very, very nice. It won't actually activate backwards. No, of course it won't. So we'll see that again. Very, very simple. Nothing really much to explain. And now you can see this is going to be a double extender. You guys know about this. Let's do it. As you can see, we have now retracted the blocks. And of course, all of these will be retracted. We would have an open door at this stage. So that is the opening mechanism. As I said, the wiring for this isn't that complicated, to be honest. It really is all about your timings. Make sure that these 2 pistons have exactly, well, you can make it more than a 2-tick delay, but why would you? You may as well make it the smallest you can. That's a 2-tick delay needed there. And then pretty much you can use whatever double extender you need, but you need to get the delay after this circuit. So the double extender circuit needs to activate after this circuit. Just make sure you know that. I'm not quite sure of the delay myself yet. It's something I still have to figure out in a sec, but we'll get to that when we hook it all up. Right now, we want to look at the closing mechanism. All right, guys, so the door is now in the open state. All we've got to do is go and close the thing. And for that, we have the orange circuit. Now, as I mentioned, I always find this bit hard because it gets really bulky. I think I've managed to keep it actually relatively compact in this case. Again, there are more compact ways to do it, but this is much easier to see. First off, just want to let you know that, yes, we'll get rid of that. I did edit this circuit a bit. It does the same thing. Instead of 1 tick repeater to torch, it has torch to 1 tick repeater. And that was so I could actually use this block here because I found I actually couldn't power this piston. So, you know, it's kind of a lesson because, you know, it's all trial and error really. I didn't build this with the intention of putting this circuit in, which I should have. And, you know, I made a mistake. So you fix it, you figure out a way around it. And to be honest, I spend like 50% of my time in Redstone doing this anyway. So we should move on to the actual build. This is the orange circuit. This is designed to close the door for the most part. It does need a tiny bit of help from the purple circuit to achieve the goal, but to be honest, it's not that bad. So what we've got here is, it may look a mess, but what we've got is it's a falling edge trigger, and I did that on purpose. It's because it's going to be a falling edge trigger when we actually hook the whole thing up, because when we turn the lever on, we want the opening sequence to go. So we want purple and green to go. So that is the opening sequence when we turn the lever on. The closing sequence is only when we turn the lever off. So when this circuit goes off, the orange circuit will activate. So that's the reason I did that. So just kind of a thing when we hook it all up. So what we've got here is 3 sets of repeaters. We've got 1, we've got 1, 2, 3, and we've got 4. So the 1 goes to this redstone line to the black block. The 4 goes to this redstone line again. It goes to the black block once again. And the 3 actually goes to this piston. So basically what's going on here is we're sending a 1 tick pulse, and that's what this falling edge trigger is for. It sends exactly a 1 tick pulse. After 1 tick, this piston will push this block to here and leave it out because it's a 1 tick. 2 ticks later, because pistons take 2 ticks to extend and retract, should I say. Exactly 2 ticks later, this block will push its block to here. And then exactly 1 tick after that, because this is a 1 tick pulse, this repeater is actually very necessary. And I mentioned when I was explaining, this doesn't necessarily need a 1 tick pulse. In fact, what you would usually do is actually use this torch again to actually push this block back out. But we're not doing that in this case just because I wanted to kind of explain it a bit more. So exactly 1 tick after this is extended, this piston actually activates. So this is 3, this line here, and that's 4. So actually before it gets a chance to retract, its block is stolen from it, and that is absolutely on purpose. So the timing is fairly strict here. And then of course this piston will push both blocks back to there. And in fact, this piston will actually retract at the end. That's intentional, but basically when we power this back off, you can actually see this circuit is actually going to repower this block anyway, so it's going to push the block back in anyway, and we have our closed door. So we're actually reusing the purple circuit in this case. So we'll set it back, and I'll just to show you it works, just to show you I'm not all talk. There we go, and as you can see, it actually retracted at the end, but of course the purple circuit would activate at the end, or deactivate I suppose, and you can see it pushes back up. We have our closed door, and that really is all there is to it. It is not the most complex circuit in the world, but basically once you know where the blocks need to move, you can actually go to your own world. You can go make a test world. I actually encourage you to go build something like this. Build something really huge that absolutely works, and then really just get it smaller and smaller until you can make it no smaller. And that is, I guess, your 3x3 door design that you made up, and pretty much you'll probably use all the time, because to be honest, I need one of those. I need to go do this myself. So yeah, that is about it, guys. But we still need to connect all of these up. So let's go do that with the proper timings, and we'll see the door in its full glory. Okay guys, so here she is, the final product. This is such a monstrosity. I have not made something this atrocious in so long, but it's fantastic. I love it still. It is huge. I'll show you the additions I made just to hook it up. First off I had the line run up to a torch, and that just repeater, and that just goes to all the other pistons around there. You can see it uses a couple of buds there, but yeah, just goes to all the other pistons. As I said, extremely simple. All I did was run a line over the top there. So very easy. Now, what I did here that I neglected to mention is that you want the double piston extender to activate and deactivate in the same cycle. I neglected to mention this. So what you want to do is actually do a pulse shortener. Now, probably what you want to use here is probably something like a hopper clock, but I didn't. I just used 1 tick there and 5 ticks there. It did not work with 4 ticks. A normal double piston extender would, but mine was too slow, so I had to use this one. And there's a delay of, 10 from this circuit running. Again, this is all, these timings are not strict here because the double extender I'm using is not ideal, but they're just the timings that happen to be for this circuit. So don't think you have to use these exact timings. We needed a 4-tick delay to this circuit because we needed to activate just after this orange circuit. So when we turn it off, we want this orange circuit to activate and then this one to push the block back into place. Because if this one activates too early, we won't be able to do anything with this piston from the orange circuit. So that's all the changes I made, only the stuff on the quartz blocks, so the stuff I changed. So without any further ado, let us see our door in action. Opens perfectly, and you can see it closes perfectly as well. So let's put a frame in our door. It just seems right. Let's put the frame on. And possibly a walkthrough to it. Let's... Beautiful. So we can walk through to our secret redstone base. And as we walk out, we close it. And you can see it closes perfectly. So there you go, guys. That is the 3x3 door in all its glory. And as I've mentioned many times, I'll get rid of this. This is just the theory behind the 3x3 door. Now you can go and make your own 3x3 door. You can use a much better double piston extender. The purple circuit is almost ideal as it is, but you can use a much better circuit back here. This is far too big. And basically, people have found ways to compact these so small. And if you if you're really interested in doing something like that, I highly recommend. This is a very good circuit to do it with, because if you have, a basic form, you can just make it smaller and smaller until, you can make it, maybe the smallest anyone's ever made. Although people have made these pretty small, so what am I trying to say? You might be, you may have a hard time, is what I'm trying to say. So thank you very much for watching, I guess, guys. This was a very enjoyable episode to make. I very much love my piston doors, as you may have noticed. I am very into piston doors. I love them. I love my pistons just in general. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you learned something. Again, I always answer questions in the comments. If you saw something in this episode you did not quite understand, feel free to leave a comment. I guarantee you I will answer your question. I have answered them all so far. If I haven't answered your question in a previous episode, send me a personal message, because I probably forgot, and I will answer your question, because I love interacting with you guys. I love you guys talking to me, and yeah, all the usual stuff. I know, leave a like if you want, show your friends and stuff. But apart from that, thank you very much for watching Redstone with Ripper, and I'll catch you next episode, guys. See you later.